Let's understand leadership itself, right? So what does leadership mean? There have been a lot of conversations, a lot of different models of leadership uh, that have been proposed, and servant leadership is one, purpose-led leadership is one, principle-centered leadership is one. I mean, these are all concepts and models that have been created and shared and are pretty popular. So I have created a model for leadership as well, specifically for leading in times of uncertainty and times of chaos, in times where change is ever present and is accelerating at a pace which we've never seen before, right? So I call this the butterfly model of leadership. Constitutes of 7 different components. So if you actually look at it, the most fundamental and foundational is self-awareness, which is what is it that we want to achieve as leaders? What is it that we are good at? What is it that we are not good at? Where are our biases? And what can we do in order to mitigate those biases? So all of these kind of questions that we need to know about ourselves is foundational and is all about self-awareness. Social awareness is again fundamental, because ultimately we are leading people. And if we do not understand the social context or the social awareness of the people that we are leading, what their motivations are, what drives them, what are some of their challenges, what are some of the things that they're good at, what are some of the things that they need help with, and all of that, right? So what is being said behind you, what's being said in front of you, what's being left unsaid, all of that kind of constitutes social awareness, the political alignments that are happening within the organization, and the social context within which the organization itself is operating under. All of that forms social awareness. It is super important for us to be socially aware and self-aware. So once we are aware of what we are trying to achieve and in which environment we are trying to achieve this in, we need to kind of bring the right mindsets to the game. I've identified 9 different types of mindsets that we can bring to the table when it comes to leadership. So one is a yes and mindset, which is all about acceptance. One is a philosopher's mindset, which is all about perspective. One is an actor's mindset, which is all about observation. One's a designer's mindset, which is all about exploration. One's an entrepreneur's mindset, which is all about risk mitigation. One is a scientist's mindset, which is all about experimentation. One's a toddler's mindset, which is all about perseverance. One's an athlete's mindset, which is all about practice. And one is a systems mindset, which is all about emergence. Depending upon the awareness, our self-awareness and the social awareness, we need to identify which is the right mindset that we want to bring in to the frame in order to be able to make the most out of the current situation, right? So then comes the entire conversation around skill sets. So this is where we are talking about the ability to facilitate, the ability to set a vision, the ability to problem solve, the ability to think creatively, the ability to um, frame and reframe problems, the ability to collaborate, the ability to influence. So all of these are skills that we need to have practiced over a period of time. And depending upon the situation, the social awareness that we have of the situation, the self-awareness that we bring in terms of what we want to achieve, the mindset that we bring in, the right skill set needs to be brought in. And once we have all of these things, we need to also do a little bit of sense making, which is understanding how all of these can come together to make the best out of the current situation that we are in right now, and decide. Sense making is all about decision. Once we have all of these things coming together, all these ingredients coming together, we kind of make sense and decide what we need to do, which is all about action, and what do we need to communicate, which is all about communication. Now, if you actually want to look at actions, I think there are 6 ways we can typically act. So we can either act as a mentor, which is we share our experience with people whom we lead. We can act as a friend, where we cheerlead our team and the people that we lead so that they can go ahead and do whatever needs to be done. We can act as a coach by helping them, by helping ask questions to our people, so that they can do self-reflection and grow as individuals, and kind of communicate this entire model for them, so that they can start doing this by themselves. So we can actually act as a teacher, which is we teach them how to do a specific thing and also learn with them based on the response that we get. We can be a mechanic for them, which is we do certain things for them. Or we can be a midwife, which means that we do things, we work with them, but get them to do the things. So we are there for moral support, for ensuring that if there is anything that goes wrong, we are there to take care. But at the same time, all the work is being done by the team. Right. So these are 6 ways in which we can bring in action. And then, of course, communication. Right. So 2 forms of communication: written and oral, and 3 ways to communicate. So do you want to, from an intent point of view, do you want to inform, do you want to influence, or do you want to inspire? Depending, and do you want to do all of these things in a written format or in a oral or speech format? Depending upon which format you are using and the purpose of your communication, I think the different mindsets and skill sets will come into play. And so that's probably the model that I'm talking about. So you become self-aware in terms of what you want to achieve in a given situation, socially aware in terms of in which context are you working to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve, what are the people around you looking for, what do they want to achieve, how do you align what you want to achieve from an organization perspective and from your personal perspective with everyone else around you. You bring in the right mindsets, you bring in the right skill sets, make sense of everything, and decide whether you want to communicate or whether you want to act or whether you want to do both. And if you want to communicate, what is it that you want to communicate? How do you want to communicate? Whether you want to act, so how do you want to act? In what role do you want to act as? So, and given that this is the leadership landscape or a leadership model that I'm talking about, you can infuse AI in almost 3 or 4 levels, right? So you can bring in AI elements in terms of sense making. You can bring in AI elements when it comes to communication. You can bring in AI elements with regards to skills, because that's one of the tools that one of the skills that we get better and better at. And of course, last but not the least, we can also bring in or infuse certain elements of AI when it comes to the actions that we want to take or the decisions that we want to take.